In this video, we're going to be talking about the Son Clave, or as I like to call it, the New Orleans Clave. This is a foundational rhythm in New Orleans music. Second line, Mardi Gras, Indian chants, funk, jazz. And so we're going to take a look at the 3-2 clave, and we're going to take a little trip down memory lane, a little history lesson, if you will, to discover where this came from and how it has become such an important part of New Orleans music. Hey, I wanted to let you know real quick that this lesson is from my Groove Gumbo course, where we're talking about iconic New Orleans grooves and bass lines, everything from the history of New Orleans roots and fundamentals, rhythm fundamentals, iconic bass grooves from second line to R&B, rock and roll, classic funk, modern funk. We're getting into all of those things. I am a New Orleans native. I spent many, many years playing in the bass chair with funk legend Zigaboo Modaliste and his new orchestra. And so this is a passion for me, and so I want to share that with you. If you're interested in New Orleans music, in New Orleans funk and R&B, second line, all that good stuff, go on and click the link below this video. I'll see you over there. So I think before we even look at the bass guitar, we need to understand the rhythm a bit. Now, this is an ostinato pattern. Ostinato just means that it's a pattern that goes over and over again, doesn't change. And so there's two variations, as I mentioned before. There's the 3-2 clave, where you have three events. We'll call that the question, three events in one measure, and then two events in the next measure. We'll call that the answer. Okay, so let's take a look at measure example A, and I'm not gonna use a metronome because I think it's important for us to be able to feel this time internally. I'm not at all encouraging you to not play with a metronome, but I am encouraging you to build up some internal time, okay? So let's look at example A. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at example B. Example B is just an inverse of that. So the question would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You see what I'm saying? So, and then the response would be 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, let's put those together in example B. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. All right. Now, the rhythm that's on the screen right now is what's known as the habanera rhythm. Now, New Orleans was and is a major port city, constantly exchanging music and culture with Cuba and the Caribbean. The habanera rhythm is a direct relative of the clave and was a huge influence on early jazz. Now, I just want to clap this rhythm out for you and see if you can recognize it, okay? 1, 2, 1. All right, you might know that melody from Carmen. Now, unlike most places in the United States, New Orleans allowed enslaved Africans to gather at Congo Square, where they would perform West African rhythms. And these rhythms, many of these rhythms, naturally fit in to the clave pattern, and that set the stage for what would later become jazz. As jazz developed, musicians like Jelly Roll Morton often openly acknowledged the role of Afro-Cuban rhythms. As funk music in New Orleans emerged, artists like Professor Longhair would play. You can hear these clave patterns in his piano playing. Now, I've left a playlist below this video with a lot of music for you to check out, and I want you to be able to identify where you hear this clave pattern in songs from New Orleans particularly. I'm going to play the note G, and we'll play this clave rhythm just using the note, just this one note. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's speed this up a little bit, and instead of playing legato notes, I'm going to play really staccato. Now the rhythmic notation looks a little bit different just to illustrate the staccato nature of the notes, but it's going to be the same groove. Check this out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. What does that sound like? It may sound like Footloose, Bo Diddley, early rock and roll. I Want Candy by Bow Wow Wow. I don't know why that's a song that comes to mind, but it's a good song. But that's just showing you that this rhythm exists in a lot of pop music as well. So in the next video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, building some more interesting grooves using this idea.